Hello, you're watching Gambia 24 with me, Sohna Tunkara. Let's look at our news bulletin. Birkama vendors unhappy with markets' unhygienic condition. Coronavirus deaths nears 100 in the Gambia. These and more coming up on Gambia 24. Stay tuned. Welcome back and thanks for joining us. Vendors at the Birkama market have expressed their frustration over the poor sanitary condition that they are exposed to. The fish vendors who pay daily duties to the Birkama Area Council are particularly affected by the poor sanitation. They have blamed the council for failing to collect the garbage. Khadija Tseka reports.
The Birkama Area Council told iAfrica TV on Monday that certain areas of the market are not under the council's administration. However, the public relations officer of the Birkama Area Council, Lamin Singate, admitted that while the fish sector in the market is under the administration of the Ministry of Fisheries, it is the responsibility of the Birkama Area Council to collect the garbage.
We are on daily cleansing around the markets, but it is also important to note that you have certain markets that are within the management of a particular community. You understand? And let's this not clarify as to say we basically, if any market that is not within under council's management, we therefore will not reach there. No, I'm not saying in that way, but I think it is important for people to understand there are certain markets that are not within the management of the council, but notwithstanding, as the sanitation of the cleanliness of our environment is vested within our powers, we equally do our efforts to make sure we reach out to markets, to public places, big towns, big villages, to make sure we do some cleansing exercise there on a routine basis.
Mama Fati, a fish vendor, said that the Birkama Area Council should not be selective about which places to pick up garbages because fish vendors pay daily duties to the council.
Area Council should not say that there are places in Birkama which is not under them because of all other places are located in Birkama and are so called, all of them should be equally taken care of. This place here is not only for fish vendors. We have other shops in this area. We are one way or the other related. Area Council is saying that the fish selling area is not their responsibility. All we ask for is to be treated equally and provide us trucks that will help to carry our dumps for us.
Sheikh Nyas Etielo said the Birkama market has a poor drainage system and that they have launched several complaints to different stakeholders, but there has not been any response.
Everyone would come here to shop. These gutters have been here for the past 7 years because the town does not have a proper drainage system. We launched many complaints to the medical health, national environment and the council too, but nothing was done. You met this place little better. If you had come days ago, you would not even pass this place. We made efforts to place some woods to ensure an easy movement of people, and sometimes we conduct our own cleansing exercise.
Odie Manjang, president of the Birkama Market Vendors Association, said executive members of the past and present governments have on their visit to the market promised to help solve the poor sanitary conditions, but nothing has been done.
There are few people who haven't raised concerns on this poor sanitation. The vice president and local government came here to pay a visit some time back. We launched our complaints to them and they assured us that they would find a solution to help us, and still nothing is done. Since the time of Jammeh, the local government, health and environment ministry came here too, but nothing was also done. The people working here have no means to help with the problem. We are even asked to pay $3,000 every 3 days.
The poor sanitary conditions of the Birkama market have been overlooked by the local authorities for several years. The vendors said they want this fixed. Reporting for iAfrica News, I am Khadijatu Seka.
From that report on market vendors expressing concern over poor sanitation, the Writers Association of the Gambia has on Monday released a list of 100 people it said are the most influential writers in the country. The list represents 3 generations of Gambian writers from Dr. Lendre Peters to today's younger generation. More in this report.
For so many years, Gambia's literature and prominent writers have not been recognized by Gambians as great works and great writers. People were dependent on foreign materials and books, though these writers have put efforts in their works and some were even recognized in other countries and not their own. But the Writers Association wants to change this, as it compiled and released the 100 most influential Gambian writers whose works were recognized internationally. Modolamin H. Al-Musaf Sow, the Secretary General of the Writers Association of the Gambia, said in an interview that the list includes poets and spoken word artists who have created a significant impact in the lives of people.
It will have a very huge impact for those who we have listed in the list, because it will help Gambian people to recognize our own talents and also begin to buy their books. Not also withstanding, it will give us the dignity, the ability to not only patronize the works of Gambian authors, but to respect them as writers, because, you know, the list featured, among others, notable scholars and prolific Gambian writers like Professor Suleiman Nyang. Professor Suleiman S. Nyang, who died in the United States, is a renowned Gambian scholar. People like Professor Dr. Lamin Isane. If you go to Ghana, a whole university, a whole city has been designated in his name. But in the Gambia, nobody knows about him. Even when he died, nothing was done here. We need to recognize people right now, not when they die. We should stop awarding people when they die. Lyndon Peters is not alive, yes, but let's assume that there are people who are doing extremely well like him, and they deserve that recognition now, not when they die. You want to buy 10 bags of rice, you want to say, you know, XYZ was the best Gambian writer. It doesn't work. So I think it is worthy of emulation and celebrations.
A 22-year dictatorship that was anti-academic and freedom of expression did not help create the needed exposure of Gambian writers, and some were forced to flee. Now there are over 400 writers, poets and spoken word artists registered under the umbrella bodies of creative writing, the intellectuals that wish to change people's perception towards reading Gambian books. So explains the association's selection process of these most influential writers was done.
The motive behind the selection is that we're using a very rigid criteria. And the criteria is that, one, you have to get international acclaim. Meaning, if you publish a book or books, the book must receive international acclaim. That is one criteria. Number 2, we are looking at those who are contributing or have contributed positively to the development of the Writers Association of the Gambia. Number 3, we are looking at also those who have individually contributed towards the educational or literary development of the Gambia as an individual. There are people who might not publish books, but they are doing spoken word poetry, or they are writing, or they are publishing newspaper articles. They are all writers, they write depending on their work, but they might not have published books, so we thought it's also important. And the last criteria, number 4, is that one must publish at least a book. At least, just a book, to be included in the list.
Since inception in 2009, the Writers Association of the Gambia has been conducting a series of book launching, poetry and writing competition to raise interest in Gambians' literary works. In 2016, the literary sector took a huge dimension with succeeding stories as more books were published by Gambian authors. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education also contributed to the recent success of the literary industry by introducing books written by Gambians to schools. For iAfrica TV News, Awamakalu.
It has been 3 weeks since a fire outbreak destroyed shops and live investments at Birkama Market. iAfrica TV spoke to the victims of the inferno who are appealing for financial assistance. The fire outbreak has negatively impacted their capacity to meet household and basic family needs. Ibrahim Sonko files in this report.
3 weeks after the fire outbreak that burned down shops at the Brikama market, life has yet to return to normal for businessmen like Bakar Mas, a tailor. Mas and other people who lost their shops at the fire are struggling to make ends meet. They have problems meeting their rent and other bills. He said they need help.
We are experiencing difficulties. Most of us feed our families with our daily sales. Some of us are renting houses and it has been difficult to pay rental fees. It disturbed us because we do not have any help from anyone since the outbreak happened.
In the absence of help from the Brikama Area Council, the government and the NGOs, Mas and other victims have decided to start the reconstruction of their stalls last week.
We are constructing this because we have to. If not, our situation will be worsened. If you use what all is left to you to buy cement blocks and gravel sands, what will you be left with? And we are breadwinners of our families. But we later agreed to start construction and do what we could do. And if we stuck, we could help one another to complete the work. That is what we could do.
Our Sow, a cosmetic seller, appealed to the government and NGOs to come to their aid. She told iAfrica TV that she could not even pay her house rent due to the financial constraint caused by the fire outbreak.
Our children's academics, their living, our daily needs, and our rental bills are all taken care of from the sales and profits we used to make from our sales. So if that stops, it could escalate our difficulties. I could not even pay my last month's rental fee because I do not have money.
The public relations officer of Brikama Area Council, Lamin Singate, told iAfrica TV that this council has established a task force to investigate the fire outbreak. He said the council will act upon the recommendation of the findings of the task force.
After the outbreak of the fire, there is a body comprising of all the regional stakeholders that come together and were tasked to look at the cause of the fire and the extent of damage that been caused at the market. So as we speak, those people are still on their work. They are yet to be ready to present a detailed report surrounding the matter. So basically that's where we are, and that report is going to determine the steps or further steps that council need to take in partners or in collaboration with various stakeholders to make sure situation of such kinds is being averted.
At least 35 shops were burned to ashes in the 2nd August fire outbreak at the Brikama market with cars and other valuable destroyed. The victims said the fire may have been caused by faulty electrical wires. This is the second devastating fire incident at the Brikama market in a year. Reporting for iAfrica TV, I'm Ibrahima Kebi Sonko.
Now on to our COVID-19 latest update in the country. Deaths occur almost on a daily basis in the small West African state. On Tuesday, 3 people died from the virus, making a total of 90 deaths from the respiratory disease in the Gambia since March. Ndaisise reports.
One people have recovered from the disease, according to a daily situation report by the Ministry of Health released on Tuesday. The 126 National Situation Report indicated that 379 new laboratory test results were received from the Medical Research Council, the Gambia, and National Public Health Laboratory. And of this, 101 new tests have been confirmed positive for COVID-19 and 6 new tests returned inconclusive. Those who tested positive are within the age bracket of 1 and 100 years. There has been a significant drop in new deaths so far this week compared to last week. A total of 2,686 people have been infected with the virus across the country. 292 people are currently in quarantine. There are 1,995 active cases, 227 probable cases, and a good case fatality ratio of 3.4%. The Ministry of Health said the bulk of the active cases are asymptomatic and are self-isolating at home pending manifestation of symptoms. For iAfrica News, Ndaisise.
With that COVID-19 update by Ndeye Cisse brings this Gambia 24 with me, Sohna Tunkara, to an end. Please do join Ibrahim Gay with the news in Wolof shortly. Good evening.
You can, we